So joining us now on Radio Exposed is Chris Block. Let's see, I got this written down here. It's our first ever guest on Radio Exposed, by the way. Like, we've never had official call-in guests. But Chris Block is the writer, editor, and keeper of TheThirdManIn.com. How you doing, Chris?
How you doing, guys?
Welcome so I heard you have late-breaking news.
Yes. Fantastic. Thanks for having me on. But more important than anything other than that, Leslie Nielsen dead.
Leslie Nielsen dead.
Leslie Nielsen, as of a half an hour ago, dead.
Well, I'm going to have to bring up does anyone have our website up? Because I can't bring it up because I'm involved in so many other things with the website right now. Did someone draft him?
I'm looking right now.
I believe he was drafted.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I can pretty much confirm that he was drafted.
Oh, was he one of your picks?
Yeah. Block drafted him, and with the 35th pick, he was 83 years old.
83,
84,
so that...
Yeah, 84 now, but yeah.
So that puts you in second place. I will have to update the website once the show is done. I'll have to cross out Leslie Nielsen's name, and that gives you 16 points. Congratulations on being the second scorer in the Radio Exposed Celebrity Death Pool.
I'm moving up. I'm going to take this thing. I know it.
So, we were talking that you are a hockey show, and it's tomorrow at 8, right? You have moved to Monday officially.
Yes.
All right, so tomorrow, 8 o'clock, listen, all your hockey questions can go directly to there at thethirdmanin.com. How long have you guys been doing the show? Or
they can just email me because I don't want to talk to them. I don't want, it would be better off if you just email Chris Block at thethirdmanin.com, and I'll read their questions on the air and I'll answer them because I really have no time to speak to anybody.
Yeah, that's true. That's why we haven't gotten our phone number either. But how long have you guys been doing the show now?
About a year and a half. It was an idea that I had a long time ago, but I didn't know there was things like Blog Talk Radio and all that. I'm really, even though I'm on the internet all the time and I know how to find information and all that, I don't know really how to. I've never been able to access or use the internet properly because I don't know all the ways that all the things that are out there. So I had this idea, but in my mind it was like, well, I have to build a studio. I had no idea that there was things like Blog Talk Radio or the other ones that are out there. And then once I sort of came across it, I'm like, well, I could do that. And I mean, it's debatable whether or not I can do it, but we've been doing it for a year and a half, and it's been going pretty good.
Yeah, you are actually the inspiration for Radio Exposed because I've been helping you guys out because you guys don't have any type of radio background, and I do. We went to broadcasting school. I've been working at a radio station now for 7 years, and I'm like, if these two guys could do this show and have success with it, why the hell aren't we? We had a pretty good run in broadcasting school with Radio Exposed. Why aren't we doing this? So we were in the same boat as you guys. Like, we didn't want to build a studio, I guess.
Yeah, not really an option.
No. Blog Talk Radio, I mean, besides some of the, we have gotten some complaints about, like, it sounds like Louis on the phone. Well, he is.
Yes, he's actually on a phone line.
So until some things get changed, this is kind of what. But Blog Talk Radio has been pretty good with everything. You get the MP3 right away. I can send everything out. There's links everywhere, and you promote your show similar to the way I promote my show. Or our show. It's my show. My name is First. Yeah, I threw it.
Can I talk to you about that for a second, Tinky?
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you a question because I was listening. I wasn't going to come on the show until I was praised. So then once I heard that, I called in. But I think of the name Tinky, okay, and this kind of like, I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if you've ever spoken about that, but to me, I mean, the show is good, and I don't know that you guys really you're going anywhere with it. But when I think amazing potential. I think there's amazing potential in Tinky actually as like a superhero cartoon character. You ever thought of like creating Tinky the character and making a cartoon out of it?
Like a comic?
Yeah, like a comic. Like see the thing that like struck me. You could be like a superhero cartoon character who's like dubious for being a horrible hero, but you just happen to be in the right place at the right time. In a couple of landmark cases, and then the comic is just you stumbling through case after case after case, and instead of it always working out, you always fail. And then like one day your luck turns around and you get busted for being a pee-pee Tom in women's restrooms and hiding behind clothes racks and drilling holes in women's dressing rooms at Lane Bryant.
I like it. I'm strangely comfortable with it. I mean, that's what I do on weekends anyway. Peepholes and stuff, and glory holes. And I found out the wrong way that you can't just install a glory hole anywhere. Like there's permits involved. But yeah,
I'm picturing a bloated Pink Panther.
Like we have a guest, not a guest, a friend of the show who did our logo, who does artwork. We could try to hire him to do like a Tinky, and we can include Louie. I want to see him in a cape, and probably only a cape.
Full disclosure,
I'd be wearing pants.
I've met Tinky. I've been around Tinky, so some of this is coming from firsthand experience. But I just thought of that, and I mean, I don't need any credit, but I do want monetary gain if there is any.
Okay, yeah, like it's on tape now, so yeah, this is your idea. Let's get the ball rolling on that.
Executive producer. Can I just sit at home and every once in a while like email some ideas and collect big checks?
That'd be awesome. I mean, first we got to collect big checks to give you big checks.
Yeah, I can get my first third man in check.
I mean, right now I can pay you in like rice checks or Trident layers or something, but.
Anything.
So, let's see, some more questions. Okay, the Blackhawks, just like over the last couple of years, have gotten big. Like, it's now the thing, especially after the Stanley Cup win. So you are now having more and more, like you being a hockey fan, you're having the people that weren't hockey fans that are coming back to the, like, what's the dumbest question you constantly get? Like, hey, you're a hockey guy. What, fill in that blank.
It's I think the position that I'm at, it's pretty unique in that we're so, the internet's a funny place because there's so many people. Like when you get to things like Blog Talk Radio or thethirdmanin.com, where it's more, singularly focused web surfers, they're looking for something very specific to entertain them, to inform them, or whatever that they're involved or they want to engorge themselves in. So I tend to get more of the learned fan, or at least the fan that believes or tries to think of themselves as a smart fan. I think that if you wanted an answer to that question, I think a really good person would be to talk to like the beat writers because they're getting that more so than anything. I get a little bit of that, but more than anything, I find myself arguing with people that jumped on board 3 years ago who think now that they know everything about the game because they've watched 200 games in the last 3 years and all of a sudden they know everything. So I get more of that. So it's more arguing with people that don't know history or really can't get their facts straight. So to answer your question, I think more than anything, it's just puck goes in the net, goalie bad. Puck doesn't go in the net, goalie great, and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's different. The internet's very weird. I mean, people think like things like Twitter, which is I think is just like the most god awful place in the world. With people making like authoritative and declarative statements based on absolutely nothing, and then forgetting they ever said it 2 days later. I mean, everybody's got an opinion, and everybody thinks that they're the smartest person in the room. But there's really, I don't know. The internet's just a funny. I hate the internet actually, but I occupy a little space on it. So
yeah, well, that's a great stance on internet radio.
You can listen, but I hate it.
So you are a conduit of which I do not like. You could have like an irrational hatred moment on your show. It's like, I hate the way that I'm speaking to you.
Hate the technology.
I mean, you could just sit on like your roof with a microphone or like a megaphone, even just like, hey, here's my hockey thoughts. Listen, I am the Moses of hockey. Yeah.
But, I do it late at night when I sit outside with the dog. That's when I do that.
All right, so you go to Rockford a lot. You know, you see a lot of Ice Hawks hockey. How's the future of the Blackhawks looking?
They're bad. I mean, the thing is, they're very young still. I mean, the Blackhawks have a few pretty good guys like Nick Leddy, Jeremy Moore, and they're going to be Blackhawks one day, and it looks like they're going to be pretty good Blackhawks. Nick Leddy, a young defenseman, 19 years old out of Minnesota. Jeremy Moore, who the Blackhawks acquired in the trade that sent Dustin Byfuglien to Atlanta over the summer. He's a young kid, 19 years old, out of Buffalo, winger. The early returns are that he's going to be a good, solid pro. At least a third-line player. So, I mean, he'll be a good player. But anything else other than that in Rockford's pretty much a crapshoot. There's this idea that the Blackhawks have this amazing depth in their farm system, and that while that may have been the case about 2 or 3 years ago, it's just right now it's hard to say that. Defensively, there's a couple of really good kids. One that's still in college, Dylan Olsen, who's a guy kind of in the Brent Seabrook mold. He's a few years away. They have some good prospects. They're just a few years away, especially if you consider, and I say this all the time, the Blackhawks right now are aiming to be an elite hockey club. It's not 2006 anymore, where fans are so quick to want to see guys like Morin and Leddy and get them up in the lineup. I mean, you take a look, when you watch Thomas Kopechki and he does something that angers you, all of a sudden you want to, the answer is the young kid in the minors. And that's not the answer. When those kids come up, you want them to be ready to contribute and stay for the long haul, and those kids aren't ready to do that yet. And, so that there are guys, but overall, Rockford's the worst team in their division, worst team in their conference right now. And, one of their top prospects, Kyle Beach, is a guy who may never really make it because there's something missing upstairs that he just can't focus on the ice and just do what he needs to do, use his body, use his strengths, and focus on that. He's always involved in the silly stuff, kind of in the Sean Avery kind of a mold, easily sidetracked. So it remains to be seen, but Leddy and Morin for sure will be up in a year or two and be good players in the Blackhawks.
So you mentioned Thomas Kopechki. The one thing that he does that really irritates me is spell the name the way he does. And I think this is the one thing that I don't like about hockey players is can you just get a phonetic spelling? Like, is that too much to ask? Like, I want to spell Byfuglien how it sounds. Like, I don't need the extra letters.
Yeah, well...
if you want to get down to the basics. Is that the dumbest question you've ever asked or ever got asked you? And now
I don't know. After the show, I'm going to be up all night listing all these questions, and I'll get back to you. But, off the top of my head, I can't think of them, but there are a lot of, specifically Russian players that have come over and changed the spelling of their last name, just so it was easy to spell. I mean, there's a lot of guys that their names are mispronounced, and they just don't care, or things like that. So, whatever. I don't care.
Vladikov, Smith, Vladikov. Yeah, I would love that. But they keep the pronunciation the same. That'd be awesome. So, if anyone else has hockey questions, email them to the show tomorrow, and get all your hockey information. But for now, we actually have some other business. Since you guys are Blog Talk Radio as well, you know of the British lady.
Right.
We're going to try to name her. Because, there's this lady, we sign on for the show about 15 minutes before, and she's like, 14 minutes. I don't know why that's my British, but 14 minutes left on your thing. And we're trying to talk back and forth. Like, okay, so you got all your papers in order, and then she just dominates your ears and then cuts you off, like you're no longer audible. So we're going to name her so we can be angry at her.
Let me go on record as saying you have the worst British accent. British accent, anybody can do a British accent. You have the worst British accent I've ever heard.
Oh, no, it's awful. I think it sounded like my Russian accent, actually.
Yeah, actually very similar, and that's not good.
No, if we have to have a British accent come on the show, this girl I actually did some drinking with yesterday has one of the most dead-on Cockney accents I've ever heard. So we'll get into that a little bit. I had an interesting night last night. I think we can get into that before the guest time ends, because we've had a lot of interesting nights between me, Superstar, and Block. But this British lady, we might have to have a couple of drinks.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Pinky, what is it about the British lady that annoys you? Because I've been doing this on Block Talk a lot longer than you have, but I honestly, I guess I've tuned her out because I don't even notice her anymore. I mean, I hear the 30 seconds and then the 10, and I just know. But anything before that, around that, I don't even hear it anymore. So.
Well, it doesn't really bother me as much.
Are you against the British in general? Maybe that's the thing. Are you anti-British?
No, for the most part, I'm fairly pro-British. I'm anti-British dentistry, but this question was brought up actually by Dickie, who wants to name the British lady.
She's like a Nazi. She's like 15 seconds till your radio show starts. It's like, okay. Scaring the crap out of me.
I don't think she's a Nazi. Her tone I always feel like she's talking down to me. Like I'm never going to be good enough.
Everybody's talking down to you, midget.
That is true. Yeah, you do look up at a lot of people.
And the thing about her though, and her countdown is that while she's counting down your live stream, the show actually doesn't end when she gets to 3210. It keeps going. It just stops streaming online.
Yeah, I noticed that when I downloaded the MP3 of the last show, that it went on for because I just left the ending song playing, and then it was still playing. I went to the kitchen, grabbed some water, and why is it still on? I thought it would have turned off by now. And yeah, it stopped on the website, but it's still going on the switchboard and on the MP3. So I guess that's bonus coverage. I guess you can get the odd Russian singing, because the ending song I have it's in Russian. I like the beat, and the lyrics are Russian lyrics. They're a Russian band, but so yeah, I guess I'm pro-Russian today. Whatever that means.
Do that accent for us again.
The British one or the Russian one?
The Russian.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm having enough trouble with the English. So yeah, that's our thing. When we get together, we need to come up with a name, because we're going to make her our producer. We're actually going to hire her. We're firing Dudley. We're going to keep Sharma and the Half-Faced Monkey as producers, but Dudley's gone, and he just found out about that. So he's leaving. So we're going to hire the British lady as our new producer. This show just came to a screeching halt. I haven't heard from Superstar in a while. Are you still on the line?
I'm trying to, you always try to picture when you hear somebody's voice and you obviously have no idea what they look like. I don't know about you guys. I always try to picture what that person looks like. So that's what I'm actually trying to, picture while we've been talking about this British lady who talks down to you. And you know what? I guess I'm like Block. I guess I don't notice her at all either. That may come from us jumping on our show about 2 seconds before it starts. So we don't have to listen to much of a countdown. But, yeah, I'm trying to picture what this woman would look like.
I'm guessing if I want her to be, part of our staff, I want her to, be the Orbitz lady. Or the gum, not the airline deal thing. It's dirty mouth, clean it up.
No, I don't think that's who she is. I think she's like the host from that the old Weakest Link show.
Oh,
she's a haggard old broad, and she's just full of hate.
Or the psychic lady with the really short, odd, spiked red hair, where she's like, like, oh god, she awful too. Another awful British person. Her and the Weakest Link host kind of are similar to me. What do you think, Dickie?
I'm going with the. I'm trying to think. I'd say it's more towards the lines of like being the Queen of England. That's who I imagine this lady being, and she's always right and you're always wrong.
And she's just waving at us. Actually, that's how she's going to signal that the show's almost ended, with like a queenly wave.
Yeah.
So, I have a question for you, Chris. I have 4 people on the line right now, and 3 of them have a handprint with a red arrow. And the reason I had to ask if Superstar was still on the line is because his phone doesn't have that. So I was wondering, do you know what that means?
No.
Or have you not had this many people on the line before?
No, you know what? I don't even pay it. I mean, I look at the board, and what I have is I have a few people that, not every week, but like truck drivers that'll call in just so they could listen. I haven't taken calls in a while, so it's pretty much just me, him, and whoever the guest is. So,
you're big in the truck driving community, huh?
Yeah. Truck
Oh.
drivers and prostitutes, yeah.
We need to, start. I probably need to go to some rest areas and leave our info on some of the boards there. Because if truck drivers are going to just crisscross the area and call in, I'm all in favor.
Worked for me.
I thought that's what you did on the way back from Iowa City.
Oh yeah. Anyone traveling back from Iowa City, welcome. You can give us a little horn honk. That's the requirement. If you're going to be on the line with us, you have to honk your horn and honk your prostitute. The 3-tooth thing that you found at Iowa's biggest rest stop.
Prostitute.
Yeah, don't forget to tip your prostitute. That's another PSA for Radio Exposed. Don't forget to tip your hooker. And also, if you do get ripped off by your hooker, don't call the cops. We learned that earlier. So how much of the show did you guys listen to, if you guys wanted to give any input on anything you've heard? Did you get any TSA talk?
I did not, no.
I did not.
No, yeah, we're it seems like the show's taken a pro pat-down stance. Where is the third man in on airport pat-downs?
Are you kidding? We pay extra for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pretty much same boat. How much extra would you pay? Because this is actually an argument that almost happened.
Another point. This is another point.
Yeah,
well, I think it depends on the who's what the person looks like who's doing the patting.
Exactly, and that's where it gets tricky. You don't know who's going to be patting you down when you make that investment.
Now, if there's a line thing, like if you're at the bank where a single line forms and then a teller opens up and then the line gets split out there, are you sitting there 5 deep going, I hope it's number 4, I hope it's number 4, please be line number 4, and then oh, I got to get pat down by that guy, or do you have to pick a line? If there's a hot girl doing it, is her line a hell of a lot longer and they got odd wait times? Here's a question for everybody, listening and all you guys. If you're in line at the airport, there's 7 lines to get patted down, and the one line is really long, but it's a hot chick. Would you go in a shorter line that isn't a hot chick, or would you wait in line?
I'd wait in line.
Go. First of all, I'm going in the shorter line because, all right, here's the deal. I'm as Block. I am very easily aroused. Okay, so I mean, for me to go into first of all, I don't need anybody touching me unnecessarily in an airport in which I could get aroused and then have to figure out a way to get unaroused before I get on the plane. It's unnecessary. Now, even if it was a hot chick, I mean, really, what's going to happen? Even if she gets me to that point, it's not like she's going to finish me right there. So, what's the point of even getting her hopes up, or mine? So I'm going with the ugliest man, and I'm going to cross my fingers and pray that I don't get aroused while he's touching me.
Now, well, here's a question: why can't you be aroused when you're on the plane? I mean, you're not allowed to bring other loaded weapons on the plane. You can. That one's allowed, I think. I don't think they make you check that in.
Well, that's one of the things why I have a really hard time, so to speak, sleeping on planes, is because I'm always worried that when I wake up, I will have airplane wood, and then the person sitting next to me will see that, and it will become an issue.
I have never ever heard anyone that had this issue that had to be concerned about that. This is fantastic.
If you're having a problem getting the lap belt on, you might just give yourself some room. But yeah, airplane wood. I guess.
And it's not like you can. It's not like you could just leave your laptop sitting on your lap in case because there's a motor in there and it's working and it gets warm and you're gonna get hard anyway. So it's really a crapshoot. So I just tend to try to stay awake, unless I'm sitting next to Superstar. Then I don't care if I wake up with Wood. It's not like he's gonna do anything. So
you know what? After this, I'm never flying with you again.
I don't think anyone's flying ever again.
Tinky, I did get a little a message here from one of our live listeners, and it simply says, "Straight class, this show, straight class."
Hey, that's all we strive for.
That's pretty good. He's loving the airplane wood commentary.
Straight, well, obviously, we're a fairly new show. I mean, we were on for a long time before, but we're new again to people. We're this is only our fourth show on Blog Talk. We're looking for taglines, and straight class, I think, is something we might start pointing.
Straight class, ... airplane wood.
Or actually, something I learned last night is that some people listen to us when they're taking a dump. So I'm gonna use that possibly. Hey, the thing you listen to when you're taking a dump, which is better than actually listening to us take a dump. That could be
does that person have iPod speakers in their bathroom?
You'd hope so. If they're dedicated to our show, where they're like, I can't wait till I'm done with this. I got to bring this in.
Have you ever?
Well, maybe it's our show is a laxative.
The other day, I was watching something I was watching it was a hockey game on one of my computers. It was a laptop, and while I was sitting there, it was going on live. And while I was sitting there, I really had to go number 2. So I had a decision to make. I couldn't. It was a live stream, so I couldn't pause it. So I could either try to hold out the 5 or 6 more minutes until the period ended, or I could unplug the laptop and bring it in with me and sit it on my lap while I go number 2, and I chose the latter. Have you ever done that?
You almost have to. When you say live stream, are you talking about the show or the bathroom?
No. Yeah. I had macaroni salad beforehand. That's what happened. But
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this show took a wrong turn. I want all of our guests to be as lowbrow as this show has turned, and I'm definitely fully responsible. Where the hell were we?
Can I ask you a question, Tinky, about something I heard on last week's show?
Yeah, you can do that. Okay,
you seem to have a lot of issues with public restrooms, and I'm not really understanding why. First of all, why are you against someone going into a public restroom and brushing their teeth?
It's not that I was against it. It was that, I have now come to terms with it. It's just one of those things that I personally didn't like. But I understand. There's a sink. Do it. Just clean up with yourself. That's now my issue. If you're going to do it, fine. I got over it's not, I guess, phobia wouldn't be the right word, but just clean, while it's wet. It's easier that way.
What is your list of things to do in the bathroom?
I threw out those notes. Now I got to rethink of this. To do, you go in, you do what the room was intended for you to do, wash your hands, leave. That room is not a gathering area. It's not like a green room. You're not going to sit there and have cocktails. Just get out of there. I mean, you may if you're a Idaho congressman, but just get the hell out of there. You're in there for a specific reason, and then leave.
I do a lot of things in the public restroom, so I don't think you and I could ever work at the same place.
No, definitely. Well, I don't know any place that I would work at that would hire you.
As long as there's familiar elbows, right, Block? Familiar elbows.
Yeah, I have to use the stall a lot because I have a thing where unless there's a familiar elbow or a wall immediately next to me, no matter how bad I have to urinate, I won't release unless I have that scenario.
Well, if you guys watch the video that we have posted on our website, you don't need to worry about familiar elbows because if someone's next to you in that urinal, you go in the stall anyway, or you wait.
Well, I've seen that video when I used to have a MySpace page, and I paid someone to update that thing for me because I can't stand people. So but I had that video on my MySpace page. It might even still be there if that thing still exists.
Yeah, I got that on my MySpace page too, which I only really recently started going on to promote the show. Yeah, like I subscribe heavily to what that video offers because I believe at the end of that video, when the whole world collapses, that is what happens if you talk in the bathroom.
Well, Pinky, another message that just came in, shockingly from Big Willie, wanted to chime in again on the bathroom talk. He and Waz shared cocktails today in the crapper at Soldier Field.
Shared cocktails?
And I'm
like, were they drinking from the same straw?
I can only imagine. I just don't know if it was beverages that they purchased there or if it was some of the beverages that they brought in with them.
Well, I hope it's a beverage cocktail and not anything else because that bathroom can get a little shady.
You think?
All right. Well, this was some interview, huh? You know what? I want a carbon copy of this interview with every guest that comes on. Next week, our guest will be the inventor of Holler.com, the social networking site, and I know he'll bring the lowbrow. Much like you guys. You guys did not disappoint. Yeah, you guys definitely did not disappoint. Tune in tomorrow on thethirdmanin.com, fully spelled out, not it's THIRD for third, not the number 3 and then RD. So thethirdmanin.com. We have a link on our website, and go there tomorrow 8 o'clock and get all your hockey info, including like why Crawford's starting a lot of games all of a sudden. You can get stuff like that. Well, what is on tap for tomorrow?
Well, we're hoping to have a guest that was actually on the road trip to discuss the Blackhawks 4-2 road trip and look ahead to St. Louis on Tuesday night, and then a big matchup with the Vancouver Canucks at the United Center on Saturday. I'll talk all about my recent trip to Rockford, including the altercation I had at Wendy's on Saturday night when I was leaving, and probably also a lot of good stuff.
Good. Well, I will definitely. I won't be listening during the show because I am working during it. But right when I get home, I will throw it in the iTunes and go hit the gym with Block and Superstar in my ear. So thank you for joining us. Greatly appreciated. We will definitely post stuff on our site to promote your show, and hopefully you guys can return that favor. We can get hockey fans on our show listening for some odd reason, and truckers.
Truckers specifically, that's what we want.
Yeah,
you want truckers.
I didn't lead with
the
hockey
fans.
Yeah, I didn't lead with the truckers, but I didn't want to make myself sound desperate.
I want to be the number 1 podcast listened to at rest areas. That
would be so terrific. Like I don't, the Ice Road Truckers. Let's go to them. Like when you're watching History Channel. Yeah, I want everything in the background. Channel 19 on the CB and Tinky and Louie on Radio Exposed. It's like, hey, they're talking about bestiality again.
I'm telling you, Tinky and Louie would be a great Comedy Central sitcom. I'm going to go write the pilot right now, Tinky.
All right. Well, as with any other Comedy Central sitcom that isn't South Park or anything like that, that'll be short-lived. So thank you guys. This was a wonderful interview. We're going to get the horoscopes now.